It should, yeah, because we've got to think, if it's not good enough for our eyes, is it good enough for our stomachs? Probably not, hey? Thank you. You're welcome.
Do you guys know what you're looking at?
No idea.
Standard industry practices for the production of meat, dairy and eggs in Australia.
Oh,
yeah.
There's actually as much, if not more, cruelty in egg and dairy production than meat production.
Even in the organic space?
Yep.
And I think there's a reason why industry doesn't show us, because if we're balking at it, maybe we'd think twice about buying it. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter what kind of farm that the animals are coming from. The standard practice is all the same. So when I first started thinking about who I was eating and the products where they came from, I started eating organic, thinking, oh, that was the better option.
Yeah.
But I learned that all the practices are very standard. They all have to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't really go throwing bricks because I'm a part of the oil and gas industry, fracking and all that shit. So
Yeah.
I can't come here and say, oh, it's really bad.
Having said that, I acknowledge what you're saying, but I guess the oil isn't like sentient and alive. It doesn't have a central nervous system. It doesn't feel pain, whereas the animals do. Like if you step on a dog's tail, it yelps.
My dog hates that when I do it.
You're killing a living being when you're vegan.
How do we do that?
Well, you've got to eat vegetables. That's a living being.
But they're not sentient, are they? There's a difference between cutting a carrot and stabbing a dog. Would you agree?
Oh, but I don't eat dog.
But is there a difference between a dog and a pig or a chicken or a cow? Because they're all sentient beings, feeling animals.
Basically seeing this, knowing that, you step on the dog's tail, it feels it, these animals feel it too. Basically the question is, do we have to do it if we don't have to?
So, but why is it worse to kill a sentient being than a plant?
You don't think there's a difference?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, well, I'm asking you, when you cut into a head of lettuce, for example, do you feel any remorse? Does anything moving you emotionally, like this is the wrong thing to do?
I guess the way I view it is the cycle of life on Earth is to consume energy. Mm-hmm. You need to consume something to get energy.
Sure, and we can consume plants, can't we?
Yeah, but plants are a living being.
And again, do you think there is a difference between cutting into fruit and vegetables and cutting into animals?
There are some differences, but I think you're still killing a living being.
But they're not sentient, so they don't scream, they don't bleed, they don't feel pain.
Why is it okay? Why does that make it okay to eat them instead?
Why do you think it's okay to eat them if they feel pain and they bleed and they scream?
I have a really guilty pleasure of watching documentaries, and I watch heaps of vegan ones. I should try it, but...
What have you watched?
It's like the Cowspiracy.
Oh yeah, so you would have learned in that the amount of water used in fracking pales in comparison to the amount of water used in animal agriculture.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's crazy, because you're thinking, hang on a sec, fracking has to use way more, and then it showed in that animal agriculture actually uses more. So, and in Australia where we're drought prone, that's not awesome.
Yeah.
But if you are concerned about beings feeling pain, then obviously you wouldn't want to cause pain to beings. So if we know that we're causing the maximum amount of pain to animals when we kill them, then surely choosing plants is the better option then anyway, because we have to eat something, right?
I definitely think if meat continues, it'll become a delicacy like anything else. It's just unsustainable for the population growth.
Absolutely.
Eventually everyone will be vegan. You just can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
It'll just be hydroponic plants grown in the factory opposed to animals.
Yeah.
Look, I agree with you on the pain for the animals.
Yeah.
So I know we're causing animals pain.
Yeah.
But I would still maintain that we don't know what we're doing to plants.
Sure, but we do know what we're doing to animals, right?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, so if we have a choice not to cause pain to sentient beings that we know are experiencing a great amount of pain, why would we do that when we don't need to?
We basically see your dog Ted the same as all the other animals in their ability to suffer. And we're like, that's really ultimately all that matters, their ability to suffer. Can they or can't they? If they can, do we have to put them through it? You know, and we do every time we buy meat, dairy and eggs, we do pay for the images on that screen to happen.
Well, in that case, you're assuming no pain to plants, to animals.
Again, when you cut up a carrot, do you sense that carrot is feeling any pain?
Your only measure, again, is
Right.
does it scream? And no, it doesn't
Well,
scream.
it's not sentient, so it's not feeling anything.
But
Right.
it is yanked out of the ground, that's it, end of carrot.
Yeah.
You know, you're eating it.
Again, but it's not sentient.
I think like animals vary in intelligence and pain varying.
They vary in intelligence for sure, and that's why we should never use intelligence as a measure of whether we should kill someone or not. If we did so, then we'd be killing babies, we'd be killing mentally disabled people and what have you. So sentience is a much better measure, and for sure that varies. But when we're talking about the food animals, cows, pigs, chickens, ducks, turkeys, their ability to feel pain, they've all got a central nervous system. So, you know, sentience is very similar amongst them.
So do you see the same kind of footage when you pick apples or harvest potatoes?
So I think things like fruits where it's just the tree is producing it, the tree carries on growing, that's great.
Yeah.
But I think it's ones where that plant is no more once you consume it.
Yeah.
Then that's the ones where I might argue, hang on, why is
So
that
what about
okay?
when the animals are no more?
Yeah, no, I agree. No,
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
Right.
It always differs for fish. Like fish aren't really cared about because like fish are stupid, man. Like you can't deny that. Like,
Well, actually, no, I've seen some.
if you went vegan, you have to stop fishing. I would. So,
Again,
be able to go vegan.
so stupid is referring to intelligence, whereas sentience, they have a central nervous system, so they have pain receptors. You know, for them, when we put a hook in their mouths and we pull them out of water, that will be like putting a hook in our mouths and drowning us. It wouldn't be pleasant.
I saw that on Jackass. Steve-O did it once.
Yeah, who's now vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Weird turn of events.
yeah, absolutely.
So if we're causing the least amount of harm by eating plants, then by default we should be following a plant-based diet,
That's
right?
where I disagree, because I don't say you're causing the least amount of harm. I'd say you have less of a measure of why it doesn't enjoy.
Well, if you're eating plants and animals, then you're causing twice the amount of harm.
That's true.
True.
I agree with that.
And we have to remember that the majority of plant foods grown and harvested are actually fed to animals to fatten them up before they're slaughtered. So if we do care about plants, we wouldn't be eating animals anyway, because the majority of the crops are fed to animals. So
Yeah, even cattle farmers have turned vegan.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know a farmer. He's got about 6,000 head of cattle, and he's like, once they're gone, they're gone. He's like, I'm going.
yeah.
He's like, they're like pets. And you
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. The thing is, they've all got individual personalities. You know, we just think of them, well, first of all, they're faceless on our plates.
Yeah.
And then when we see a whole heap of them, we just think, oh, it's a number. But there's actually an individual, you know, just like your dog's got an individual personality different to my dog and the other guy's dog. Cows are the same, pigs are the same, chickens are the same. And really, it's a bit of an arbitrary line if you think about it that we've drawn between species. Yep, Ted is the favoured species. Screw all those other ones, you know, I mean.
we're going to head off. Cheers, mate.
No worries, mate. What was your name?
Nick.
Nick, I'm going to give you some resources. Challenge 22. 22 days, free coaching, no obligation. It coaches you through how to transition to a vegan diet, because that's obviously the biggest obstacle at the moment, just how to do it. You can run any questions you've got by them. There's mentors in there. It's all free, because it takes about 21 days to change your habits. So by day 22, you'll be laughing.
Yeah. Right, cheers.
Pleasure to
Hopefully
meet you,
we're
mate.
the most humble people you meet tonight.
Absolutely.
See you,
Thanks,
mate.
mate. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Enjoy yourself. See you guys.